Hi kids, it's Mrs. Fravel. How are you? Hi, I'm back. This is the beginning of the new unit and the last unit for marine biology this year. We're going to start talking about the open ocean environment or the pelagic environment. You guys are all done with the deep sea hydrothermal vents that you did with Miss Dreyhouse, and what an amazing world you guys got to discover down there. If you have any questions about the assignments that she had or what's going to go on your grade for that, please contact her. You can email her in Canvas. So without further ado, let's talk about the next environment and what you guys are going to be learning about this week. Let me get out of the way. Okay, so we're going to talk about the ocean, the open ocean, or most of the planet. Remember, our planet is a water planet, and 71% of it is covered by the environment that we are going to now explore. This week, I'm just going to have you guys focus on the abiotic parts of the environment and how they affect the life forms that live there. And then next week, we'll start to look at some specific groups of animals that live in the open ocean. Okay, so let's review really quickly. The pelagic zone. Remember, way back in the oceanic or oceanography unit, we talked about the zones of the ocean and how the ocean has two big environments or big environments. There's the benthic environment, that's the sea floor, and then there is the pelagic environment, and that is the water column. We are just going to be talking about the organisms that live in the open water column. Now, technically, that reaches from where the shelf break is out into the open water, and if you keep going all the way across the ocean, you hit another shelf break. So that is the pelagic zone. We are going to focus on the top three pelagic zones in that environment: the epipelagic, mesopelagic, and bathypelagic. Now, those three zones are just water, and those encompass about 330 million cubic miles of surface area on the planet, and it's a lot. Okay? What are the abiotic factors in that environment? Well, mostly it's water, right? Water in the ocean has been estimated to contain 352 quintillion gallons. I don't even know how many zeros that is, but that sounds like a lot of water. And within that water, there are three major abiotic factors that affect what lives where. Okay, first of all, we have the density of water, including the thermocline and the halocline and the thermohalocline. We have dissolved gases in the water, and we have sunlight, how much light penetrates the water. So we're going to take those one at a time. We're going to start with density. The ocean is layered, remember, by salinity and by temperature. You guys did a lab on this way back at the beginning again of the semester where you guys layered water in a beaker and you killed it. You did so great. The salinity layers in the ocean are called the halocline. The temperature layers are called the thermocline, and they're a little more flexible. The layers vary by latitude. There's more layers at the mid latitudes, like out from the equator. Once we start getting into the higher latitudes up by the poles, there's not as many layers in the water by density. We have four main zones in the ocean for density. We have the surface zone. That's the least dense. That is where the currents are mainly in play. So the water there is being mixed continually by the wind and wave action and those surface currents that we also talked about back in oceanography. This is, again, the least dense of the ocean's water. And then we get the thermocline. This is kind of like a woo-woo transitional layer where by temperature it kind of increases with depth by density, and it depends on where you are on the planet for that. As you go deeper, the density increases. Okay? Up at the surface zone, the density is pretty stable, and then you get into this thermocline and the pycnocline, And that's where we get this huge transition and density increases as you get deeper until you get down to the deepest part of the ocean, the deep ocean. Way down there, the salinity is pretty constant. The water is very cold. It's very dense down there. That's where 80% of the ocean is. And here's what that looks like if we graph it. The surface zone only encompasses 2% of the ocean, and yet that's where most of the living things are. And then we get the pycnocline, and the thermocline is kind of in between these two layers, and it's mostly dependent on the temperature of the water. And then we have the deep zone. That's most of the ocean. Second abiotic factor we'll talk about are dissolved gases. Of course, you live in the air. Woo! Lots of gases around you all the time. It's no different in water. It's just they're in water instead of just in the air. Seawater has the nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide, the most essential gases for life, just like up here on the terrestrial environment. Oxygen is produced by algae and plants. It's a byproduct of photosynthesis, and funnily enough, handily enough, it is the most needed one for animals, for respiration, to do cellular respiration. Nitrogen is the second dissolved gas. That one is used by producers like plants and algae to lock their sugars into their tissues. That is produced by animals as metabolic waste in urine. And then carbon dioxide, right now, that is the most important dissolved gas to talk about in the ocean. We'll talk about it at the end of the unit. Okay? And then the third abiotic factor are the light levels in the ocean. We talked about this again in oceanography. You guys, it's like this whole thing is review. The three photic zones are the euphotic zone, dysphotic zone, aphotic zone. Okay, sunlight can only penetrate so far through the water before just the mass of water scatters the light until it is imperceptible, at least to us. There are animals that can see different light spectra, wider light spectra. Some can see UV, some can see infrared. We cannot. But once you get into the dysphotic and the aphotic zones, much harder for most organisms to see down there. And they have special adaptations in order to be able to hide and to be able to find each other down there. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. Here's a little bonus for you. Let me move myself down here. On your test, let me back up. So different spectra of the light, of white light, of sunlight, penetrate to different depths. And that just has to do with how photons move according to their wavelength. We perceive different wavelengths of photons as color. So the shortest are the UV and the purple at one end, and then the longer, the reds at the other end. And those can only penetrate down to about 50 meters in the euphotic zone. And then below that, we get less short wavelengths. We get the longer wavelengths. We get just the yellows, greens, and blues. That's where we get the twilight zone. Sorry, clicked. And then the very deep down here, we're really only getting mostly blue, a little bit of the green, very small amounts of yellow, no red, no purple. Okay. Here's my bonus question. I want to know why. And what color are most animals that live down here? What color are they? You can Google that, read up on it. So tell me what colors they are. There's actually two colors that are most prevalent in living fish and other things that live in the dark, deeper parts of the ocean. Tell me why. According to the laws of physics, why are they that color, and why would that be beneficial? See what you can do. No cheating. No talking to Mr. Mon. Okay. The last abiotic factor that we'll talk about is pressure. Yeah. Okay. You live under pressure all the time, not just at school, but just in the air. Being a land dweller, you have just the pressure of the atmosphere. So all of the atmosphere above you up to outer space technically is pushing down on you. Not a lot because the molecules are pretty spread out, right? That's what a gas is. But you still have about 14.7, 14.6 pounds of pressure pushing on you all the time up here in the air, okay? When you get in the water, water has more mass. It's more concentrated, right? It's a liquid. So that has more pressure pushing on a body. The deeper you go into the water, the more water is above you, the heavier that is. And as you go down every 10 meters, you add 1 atmosphere of pressure to a body. So if you're at the surface, you have 1 atmosphere of pressure. If you go down 10 meters, you have 2 atmospheres of pressure. You go down 30 meters, 3 atmospheres of pressure. So every 10 meters you go down, you increase 1 atmosphere of pressure on the body, okay? If you scuba dive, you have to learn this so you know how deep you can go and how to surface safely. Okay? Animals have different adaptations to deal with this. Whales and a lot of other vertebrate animals have flexible rib cages if they are an animal that migrates vertically, which we'll talk a little bit about. Vertical migration is they can go from one zone to another throughout the day. And they have generally, invertebrates will have hydrostatic skeletons, so they just lose or gain water as they need to. But a mammal like a whale will have flexibility in their skeleton and in their internal organs to deal with that pressure. And then, of course, there are these animals that they can't change their depth very well. They're not adapted to that vertical migration. And so when they encounter a pressure change, there's some problems. So you guys know the blobfish, right? They're the funny, ugly little guys. Where am I going to go to get out of the way? I'll go over here. So this is what a blob sculpin looks like when it's been caught and pulled up to the surface really fast. They explode because they are adapted. Their bodies only function with like 30 atmospheres of pressure on them. They live in really deep water. So when they come up, they look like these hideous mushy masses. But here's what they look like when they are actually where they're supposed to be in the deep ocean. They are beautiful fish. And there's a video right there if you want to look at them swimming. It's you know, it's totally thrilling if you're me. Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to now stop this video and I'm going to start another video on the assignment called How Deep to show you guys how to do this assignment. So finish up taking your notes on this and then I will meet you at the assignment titled How Deep. Okay?